summer of 2016. I was 18 and just finished high school. Freedom! Freedom at last! My classmates shouted. Well, at least the ones who slayed their exams, of course, but most people, including me, felt even worse now. One after another results came in, and since at the time I was working in an office, everybody was keen to know how well I did. And let me tell you this, I either had to lie or dig a hole for myself and stay there until all of them left. Well, it wasn't that bad, I did pass after all, but the results were not what I expected. Now, getting accepted to my dream university would have been pure luck.
After watching your last video, I can kinda tell why this happened. You know, school is for studying, not for drawing. Ever thought about that?
Badger, I can't even tell you how many comments I've got of how annoying you are. Ever thought about that?
People hate hearing the truth. That's how humans are. It's only natural.
Yeah, Badger, of course. You're always right. Whatever. So, waiting for this exception letter was the longest month of my life. During this time, mental breakdowns were my best friends since being accepted was my only chance. Then, the whole village would stop disrespecting me and start treating me like I'm somebody important.
Wait, isn't that the stuff that Naruto kept repeating over and over and over again?
Yeah, I relate to him in so many different ways, it's crazy, so I just use his quote.
Relate to an anime character. Wait. How old are you again?
Okay, back to the story. So the big day came, I opened up my letter and what do I see? I got accepted. And not only got accepted, I got a free spot. Immediately, I rushed to my grandparents and told them what happened. They were super happy about it, so my grandfather asked if I would like to go and gather some mushrooms in the forest, since he knew how much I loved doing that. As we were driving towards the forest, for some reason I thought to myself, well, my life is getting better and better, so naturally something bad will happen to me soon. It would be quite ironic if I would catch a tick and I would get a Lyme disease or something. I mean, I never got vaccine for it, so there is a risk. But then I pushed this idea to the side since I never really catch them. For some reason they just don't like me. No matter how many times I go to the forest, I never get one, even though people who go with me usually catch them. I guess my blood just attracts only vampire dudes, not ticks. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a story time about it, so don't forget to watch it after this video. I'll leave a link down below.
Nice shameless little promo. It was very smooth, I guess. Not really.
You didn't learn your lesson, did you?
Okay, chill. Jeez, you are so sensitive, woman.
So, after a few hours of gathering mushrooms, we came back home and immediately I threw my clothes to the washer, went to the shower, checked myself, and I had no tics whatsoever. Few weeks passed and there I was, sitting in my office waiting for a lunch break when suddenly one of my co-workers came and asked if during this lunch break I could stay in the office since they all have to leave. Apparently this dude has to come and pick up some papers, so they can't lock the door and somebody has to stay, and nobody can. Once they all left, I made a strange discovery, a little bump on my head. It was about the size of a pea. I freaked out when I realized that this could be a tick, and if that is a tick, this thing was feeding off me for at least a couple of weeks. Not only I felt grossed out, but I got a sudden chill down my spine since I remembered what I was thinking while I was driving towards the forest. Without any hesitation or fear of losing my job, I grabbed my stuff and ran towards the hospital, leaving my whole office unlocked.
This was the true act of an adult. I'm amazed. Good job carrying the responsibility. I'm so proud of you.
First of all, I didn't have a key and also my future and life was at risk. I panicked, okay? Once I got to the hospital, I explained the situation and they sent me to the nurse's office. There, she looked at the bump and approved that this was a tick indeed. Then she took her tweezers and pulled that thing out. As I was sitting there and looking at it, I couldn't believe how ironic this was and I couldn't forgive myself for not being more responsible and going to the forest without getting proper protection. So the nurse told me to watch my body temperature, see if my skin doesn't get any red spots or anything, and if something does happen, visit again ASAP. A week passed and nothing happened, so I slowly forgot about this and moved on. During that time, my grandparents had to leave for at least 5 days, so that meant that I will have to be alone at home. When the night came, of course, me and my friends decided to go and hunt for some Pokemon, since that summer was the peak of Pokemon Go. And the place we picked was this park next to the river, and all I remember is that as I was standing in the middle of the night, Looking at the sky, I felt the slight dizziness and sudden urge to puke. For half an hour, all we did was sit on a bench until I felt better, and then we went home. As I was laying in my bed all alone, it came back, and this time it was even worse. My head and body started to hurt, my temperature was pretty high, and I felt super dizzy. And so I thought that this thing is probably happening to me because of that little tick. Of course, I immediately called my grandparents, and they calmed me down and told me to rush to the hospital the next day, or if it gets any worse, call ambulance. I stayed up all night, but probably not because I had a fever, but because I was imagining how my life will go if I do get some kind of disease. What will happen to my university dreams? Will I have to delay it or drop it? But when the morning came, I went to the hospital, and after a few tests, they told me not to worry, it's just a pretty harsh cold, that's all. I was sitting there and thinking, what a nice time to get a cold. To get a very harsh cold.
Why do you always overreact?
Tell me, how was I supposed to know that I'm not dying? I mean, the timing was perfect.
Oh, I don't know. Not jumping to sudden conclusions would be a nice first step.
I know. Still, I did take this whole thing as a lesson. You shouldn't risk like that, especially when there's your life and health at risk. Don't think that if something happens quite rarely, it can't happen to you. Life is short, don't make it even shorter with your stupid decisions. So, hope you guys liked this video, liked the story. Thank you a lot for listening, for watching. I have many more videos like this coming soon, so don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and see you in my next video. Bye!